Night 17 inside the Big Brother All-Stars house. This is Cliff Notes giving an overnight feed summary from outside the Big Brother house. It's Friday night, Saturday morning. We're going to cover what happened after the safety competition. In all honesty, it's been kind of a boring night. The alliance, the new school side with their 50 different alliances, is feeling very much in control this evening. Just not nearly as much discussions and such as we've had in past nights. People, we'll talk about it, but some people feeling like this is going to be kind of a chill week, and they're probably right unless Big Brother grants us some kind of fun new power that shakes things up. Just in case you aren't aware, some things that happened earlier in the day that I want to make sure you all are aware of. First of all, they did have the final safety suite competition pass. Only 4 people could compete in that competition. Enzo won, and he made Christmas his +1, so she has immunity also. The only people competing in this competition were in the alliances with Cody and Enzo, the connection, and all the alliances on the new school side. People that were aligned with Tyler, so it didn't really have a huge effect on the game. But Enzo won. Christmas is his +1, so she'll receive some kind of punishment here tomorrow, and we'll see what that is. But those 2 are safe. After that, we then had the nomination ceremony. Again, Tyler is the HOH. Zero surprise in the way he went. Janelle and Kaiser are his 2 picks. Everyone knew that was going to happen. So that's what we're looking at for the next week. Veto competition should be held tomorrow. If either one of them pulls themselves off the block, then there may be a little bit of a question about who Tyler would put up to replace that veto person who comes off. But it doesn't matter because they should have the votes then to send the other one of the 2 out the door anyway. But again, things may change, but it's looking like a very, very plain Jane, not a whole lot of surprises kind of week. All right, so a few conversations that did take place tonight that just give you some background, some coverage as we go forward with the rest of the week. Right before the safety competition, Enzo and Memphis are having a little bit of a conversation, and it's kind of interesting, I think, because they're talking about Ian. They're both agreeing how dangerous Ian is. They said, man, he just pops up when you're not least expecting him. He's always observant. He's always paying attention. He knows everything that's going on in this house. They both agree that he is incredibly dangerous and that they really need to get rid of him within the next few weeks. So Ian has been trying to fit in a little bit more with that side of the house, but he's obviously on the radar of several people, and so he's going to have to be careful to stay alive as targets start dwindling down a little bit and they start looking within a little bit. Ian is on, at least in one of those alliances, the Prime 4 that he created last night. But I think overall he's still very much an accessory to everyone else on that side of the house. Another conversation, Tyler and Davon are talking. Tyler said, yeah, it's kind of interesting the way Kaiser's been acting versus Janelle. Kaiser came up, he's being very apologetic about the fact that they weren't able to work together, and he's kind of kissing up to Tyler a little bit and everything, whereas Janelle apparently isn't doing much of that at all. So he said, yeah, Kaiser's trying to be apologetic. But there's still some discussion about which way they're going to go in terms of their primary target. They probably won't really finalize that until after the veto competition. They know for certain who is or is not on the block. Another conversation, here you go. Talk about who may be a replacement nominee. Janelle and Davon are talking. Janelle tells Davon that if Janelle or Kaiser comes off the block, that she says Memphis is going up. Now, that's Janelle talking. That's not Tyler, so take that with a grain of salt. But she's letting Davon know that she thinks Memphis is right there with the 2 of them, or with Kaiser and Janelle as well for potential replacement nominee. And she may be right. Tyler was not happy with Memphis last week, the way he kind of called out David and Nicole when he nominated them. So that may be something that Tyler would consider. We certainly shall see. Kevin is another potential replacement nominee if Kaiser Janelle comes off. So we will find out very shortly. Another conversation, the Alliance, the Connect. And again, one of dozens of alliances. So just as a reminder, the Connect consists of Davon, Bailey, Cody, and Enzo. They're talking about how this is going to be such an easy week. Hey, we needed this week. Let's just chill this week. It's going to be okay. Let's get our energies back up and everything, because this week is an easy one. Enzo says, I don't even care who goes home. Janelle, Kaiser, that better be. I don't care who goes home as long as one of them goes home. So again, they're feeling very comfortable in their position this week. Cody is talking about, he says, man, if Janelle does come off the block with the veto, she is going to bring chaos to this entire house. It's going to be a nightmare. And Enzo jumps in and says, hey, maybe it's best to keep Janelle, even if she doesn't come off the block. Maybe it's better to get Kaiser out the door, because if Janelle does get power, she's going after Nicole Franzel. He said, we'll sit back and watch. Cody says, yeah, bring the popcorn. We'll sit back and watch. Let Janelle take out Nicole, or let the two of them go at it, because we won't be the primary target. We know who's going to be the primary target. So again, it's a lot of strategy thinking about which of those two people they may want to send out the door if they have the choice between them. Maybe knowing that Janelle's going to go after Nicole Franzel gives her some leverage to stay a little bit longer, but they're so scared of Janelle, so we'll see. All right, another thing they played charades in the living room. I don't know, about 9 o'clock their time. Different movie titles. They were all pretty much. I think Janelle was up in the have-not room. Everyone else was down for the most part, off and on playing the game, and did that for a while. Now here's a funny one. At first I thought this was just kind of teasing and not a big deal, but it could have a little play in terms of relationships and everything. There was teasing from several house guests to Dave Vaughn about David. And David's got a crush on you. Man, he's flirting with you. David, come on, Dave Vaughn. David's interested in you. Dave Vaughn told Danny, said, don't be telling people that. Don't say that there's anything between me and David, because that could affect my game. It could hurt my game if people start thinking that we've got some kind of tight connection. Just don't be saying that. And again, that was just kind of, you think, just an offhanded comment, not that big a deal. Well, it got a little bit more intense. A little bit later, like soon after that, Nicole Franzel, I guess I could just start saying Nicole now, right? But I'm going to say Franzel. In honor of my buddy, Nicole Anthony. Nicole Franzel, she's crying now because she thinks, let's stick with me here. Nicole Franzel is crying because she thinks that Bailey believes that Nicole Franzel brought this whole David flirting with Dave Vaughn's thing up, that she did it just in order to hurt Dave Vaughn's game. She thinks that's what Bailey thinks about Nicole Franzel. So she's crying, saying, "No, I didn't do that. I was just playing." And but now she thinks I'm trying to hurt Dave Vaughn in her game. So Nicole Franzel was taking it very, very seriously. And throughout the evening, there were several continual, just little conversations saying, "Oh yeah, she's a little upset." Dave Vaughn was talking about, Bailey was talking about it. So again, it doesn't on the surface seem completely serious, but when people are crying and acting a little concerned about it, that tells you there's more going on, and there's some relationships that are seeing a little bit of a strain. So yeah, David and Dave Vaughn flirting together, or at least David's flirting with Dave Vaughn, and she doesn't want people talking about that or teasing her about it. All right, what else going on? A big conversation going on between Kevin and Dave Vaughn in the love room downstairs. Kevin was dragging Kaiser a little bit. He was talking quite a bit about. He said Kevin is arrogant as they come. He talks down to me all the time. He said he's playing backgammon with Ian, not because he cares about Ian, but just because he's looking for an angle. He said that Kazar was crying for sympathy votes. Kazar wasn't doing great tonight. He was feeling a little stressed out and really missing his son. And so he had some moments where he was down. And I think I believe it was Dave Vaughn that came and talked to him a little bit and tried to cheer him up some. But Kevin saying, nah, he's just doing it for sympathy votes. Kevin and Kazar are not getting along real well. Kevin even said he met Kazar outside the house at some event, and he didn't like him there either. So I don't know if this is truly just a relationship they're not liking each other, or it's Kevin maybe trying to distance himself a little bit from them, knowing that they're the primary targets. Maybe it's a little bit of both, but spent a lot of time kind of talking down about Kevin. Dave Vaughn was talking about the veto competition coming up. And again, it's kind of not a big surprise. Everyone thinks they know what's going to happen. But Dave Vaughn's saying, I want to win that veto. I want to force people to come to me and tell me why the noms should be the same. Tell me why you want to keep them the same. He said, Janelle, Kazar, they've never done anything to me, so I want people coming to me and just not assume what I'm going to do. They better come to me and explain exactly why they need to stay the same. Davon's been playing the role of information broker to some degree for a while now, talking to a lot of different people and trying to pull in information and doing a lot of observing. I think she's playing a pretty good game right now. But again, she's wanting to be a little bit of an information broker. If she gets that position of power with the veto, he's going to expect people to come in and include her and discuss some strategies and things like that. Davon did also say that Kaiser asked her, he said, if I'm gone, if I'm voted out, would you and Bailey be willing to work with Janelle? I don't want to see y'all get picked off one by one. Would y'all be willing to work with her? And Davon really never gave an answer to that. But Kevin got upset. He said, well, how come Kaiser didn't include my name? How come he said, would you and Bailey work with Janelle and didn't mention my name at all? And Davon said something like, he doesn't like you, Kevin, but why do you care? Because you don't like him either. But Kevin was still upset that he wasn't included in the plan to work with Janelle in case Kaiser went home. Finally, another little bit of that conversation. Davon is a little bit upset that Enzo gave Christmas the +1 safety instead of Davon. Now, earlier, Davon had been saying, hey, I'd kind of like to get that +1, maybe not so much to be safe, because I think I'm safe, but also because she's never gotten a punishment, and she thought it'd be fun to do some kind of fun little punishment as well. But instead, they gave it to Christmas, and they talked a little bit about it, and think maybe it's them trying to make sure that Christmas stays in the fold with that side, with those alliances. And Kevin was telling Davon, say, hey, we're really going to have to work on Christmas and make sure she's still attached to us and supporting us also. So Davon was a little upset that she didn't get that. She mentioned another interesting little comment as well, talking about that she and Kevin are going to need to work together. They're going to need to try to survive. And she said, we've got 3 big targets in front of us, which Janelle, Hazer, and I wasn't sure who the third one was, and she didn't really say. I don't know if she's talking about Memphis or Ian. I would think maybe the other one of those two would be the other big 3 targets. But she said, we've got a few weeks where there's some other big targets, but we need to be prepared. We need to be taking mental notes over these next couple of weeks and figure out who's doing what and how we can stay alive once those big targets are gone, because otherwise they're coming after us. And she's right. I think pecking order, she's probably right, and the fact they'll then come after her is right too. There's some people a little concerned with Davon already that she's been spending too much time with Janelle and such, so she may be a little lower on that list even than she thinks, but all in all, she's right. They need to be paying attention. For them, probably it's just a matter of survival until there's a few enough outsiders and that big alliance starts to break at that point in time. And then finally, one final little comment on that conversation. Kevin was talking about Ian. He said, man, Ian was strategizing as soon as we got in the house, as soon as we won that first little competition rolling the balls while we're in the wall waiting to run across the mushroom beehives or whatever. He said Ian was already saying, oh, we need to work together to all of us at one. You know, let's form an alliance, us 6 here. And he said that was within 30 minutes of being in the house. Since then, Ian's been kind of distant. He doesn't really talk to Kevin that much. So Kevin says, I just can't break him. I can't figure out what's going on with him. So he was a little bit concerned with that. All right, guys, again, not a whole lot happening tonight, but I did want to give you an update, give you a little bit of a feel for how the house is going. The key word tonight is chill. Chill. No worries, man. It's all good. Tyler and his alliances feel like they've got the game in hand this week, and they probably do. All right, one little quick reminder, guys, that I haven't done before, but these little 15-minute coverages every day for a more detailed coverage of the entire Big Brother weekend, questions and answers with viewers and everything else. Check out my Cliff Notes show that I do every Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. It's available only on the TV Co app. Go out there. It's a free app. Download it, and we'll talk all about Big Brother. Next show again Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. Guys, y'all have a great day. I will see y'all in about 24 hours. Cheers, guys. That's KD143.